Hey folks, I thought I would showcase one of the builds I've been playing for 3.7 Legion League. It is a not a tornado shot, ice shot with a Voidfletcher. Effectively, the concept of the build has been played before. It's not a unique build. It's a Mathel build. It's a Engineering Eternity build. There's lots of builds on this, so there's nothing special that I'm about to reveal. I've slightly changed the tree and ascendances for 3.7. I'm still playing it. It still feels great. Really enjoying the build, so I thought I'd showcase it. I'm going to run a map, run you through how it feels, what I've been thinking, and show you the gear and put a path of building in the description. Keeping it nice and simple. This build has done every single Elder Guardian, Deathless, tier 16. Effectively, there's a VOD where I go from... I'll just turn my filter down so it doesn't blow your ears out. Sorry. Effectively, it goes... Farms all the Elder Guardians at tier 16, all of the Shaper Guardians at tier 16 Deathless, and Uber Elder is comfortably Deathless, I believe. The only reason I've died on Uber Elder is from pure FPS drops, which I've struggled with. In fact, I've actually reinstalled my PC as a result of... Reinstalled League onto my PC because the League was a little bit laggy. And I wanted to see if a reinstall helped or didn't help. So today's the first day that I'm playing with the fresh reinstall. We'll see how it goes. But I did want to showcase a little bit of Monolith gameplay because I think that's like the main point of the build, right? People want to see how it handles Monoliths and all that stuff. You can see this is a tier 16 Monolith. And it's, if I don't run out of mana, because I'm not actually hitting anything, but... You know, I'm full clearing a tier 16 Monolith there, pretty comfortably within the time limit, and it feels really good now. I've messed about with the ascendancies, the playstyle, and this is, again, I'm not even using single target here on these rares. I'm just walking up and using a singular ice shot. I'm just going to actually change... Oh, my graphics are fine. It's just shocking ground that is apparently making my screen look very odd. And you can see it comfortably handles monoliths. Also, you can press a Val Grace, the technique I've been using to effectively get me through these monoliths if they are rippy, because sometimes I've had double bosses inside tier 16s. I will save my Val Grace, crack them all open, then position myself behind, like here, so I can shoot forward, so I'm not looking down. And I'll Val Grace and chain off the screen. And if I need to single target, I can. But yeah, I did want to put some gameplay first before I sort of showed you the tree and how the build works. Because I think what annoys me is when I look at a guide and all the beginning of it is not gameplay. And I think to myself, just show the gameplay, mate, because if you can explain it for 20 minutes, but if the actual build just doesn't look fun, I'm not going to be playing it. So you can see here, the idea is there's not that many monsters here at the moment, so I'm sort of losing a bit of momentum with my flasks. But, you know, shoot ice shot, it's going to chain, you know, and one-shot packs pretty much. And we're in tier 16, so it's absolutely... DPS is fine. I've done Uber Elder, everything in the game. I've done a 4-way Legion. I raised the 10 generals as a challenge. There's all kinds of VODs on my Twitch channel, so it can do everything in the game. I'm not going to showcase that because it will make the guide too long, and I'm really not in the mood to make a super long guide. So what you can do, again, is effectively you're going to run in, you're going to fire Barrage, you're going to pop Frost Bomb on top of it ideally, maybe even Val Grace, get all your pots down, Blood Rage, you can even Blink Arrow. There are quite a few things to press for absolute pure DPS. Occasionally, you might not get it all, but you can see the level of damage. Sometimes that guy doesn't actually jump, and you can straight one-shot him. With an Ellie weakness map, it's a little bit sketchy, but, you know, that's because I ate one of the balls on Ellie weakness, but if you're not on Ellie weakness shot ground, it's absolutely fine. And the damage is respectable. That wasn't all my damage lined up. As you can see, I didn't actually press my Dying Sun, which is a large chunk of damage. And that's kind of how the build functions, right? Very simple, clean build. It's just a bow build, nothing too spectacular. So I can run you through how exactly it works and what exactly it does. So I'll just put these in my stash. So the idea is you're using a Voidfletcher, and the Voidfletcher effectively, if we go in a map to show you, it shoots these purple explosions. And these purple explosions are what we call void shot. As a result, we've kind of changed our tree and physical damage to be cold, and we're dealing pretty much all cold and physical. These are dealing 15,000, it says, and when you press all your stuff, you get extra ones. You can see my dying sun there. So that's kind of the Voidfletcher in action, and that's what you're doing. You're barraging down, and you can see, I have to show you in a map because I technically need to be in combat. You'll see here in the top left, it charges up. So the way you sort of single target is you run, fire the explosion, then you can shoot your ice shot, and then when you've got to load up and you want to dump the rest of your void arrows, you can then get rid of them and it charges up. So that's kind of how it works. So when you single target, you want to ideally wait for 5. That's really good for the Uber Elder Guardians because when it's phasing through phases 1, 2, and 3, you fully charged up each time, so it feels nice. The build itself uses a Death's Opus. It uses any evasion helmet. It uses a Voidfletcher quiver, an amulet with life. Mine's got double reses on, multi. It's got a little bit of cold to attacks on it. It uses a ring. I've got Assassin's Mark on hit. The ring looks kind of nice. What happened effectively was I had tier 1 weapon elemental damage and reduced curses, and I thought to myself, I probably shouldn't waste that, and I regaled it and happened to get Assassin's Mark on hit. It just happened. I had a previous ring that was a lot worse. It took me about 200 alterations to get Assassin's Mark on hit with 54 life, and then I could craft a res on it. It was pretty awful. In fact, it was actually had no life on it because I couldn't craft life. I had to craft a resist to fix my gear. But I've been playing this build a lot, so I've managed to get pretty good gear. So don't worry, like, if you're looking at this gear like, oh, he's got a Abyssal Socket Tomb Fists, he's got a nice Stinging Belt or boots. All these things have been slowly upgraded through playing, and you don't need them. Without wanting to sound like Mathel, the whole thing was done on a 6-link. It was only on a 5 links. It was only yesterday I got my 6 links. I've done all the Guardians Deathless, everything, Uber Elder, the lot. 4-way Monolith. I'm waiting to get my 5-way Monolith when this green Timeless Splinter Templar fills up. And they're on 5 links because what Barrage is doing, again, to show you how it works, is Barrage isn't really like a main damage dealer. It's just a tool to get rid of your ice shots all at once. So that's why the 6 link isn't quite as important as, say, on other builds. Especially on your on your AoE, you definitely don't need a 6 link because all I did is put increased crits on, and that just means I don't have to press my Diamond Flask quite as much. But honestly, I've done the whole game on a 5 link. So what we're looking at is the Death's Opus. Now, currently, I don't have my script online to tell you the prices. I'll tell you the prices that I paid. I don't know what they are now. I paid, I think it was 2. It was 2 Exalts when Exalts were, I think they were about 100C for this 6-link Death's Opus, and that's what I paid. The links are all going to be in the description in a path of building, but I'll just run you through them. Barrage, added cold damage, slower proj, Mirage Archer, hypothermia, weapon elemental. You could even put increased crit in there if you're struggling instead of hypothermia or something different. In my helmet, I've just got dash, which is the new skill that helps me, you know, jump around, dodge some stuff. I've got my Blood Rage, I've got Herald of Ice, and I've got Precision at a little low level. That just helps my accuracy. Here's where my build differs slightly from the 3.6 ones, because we've now got Precision. Again, Mark of the Elder, because our other ring is Shaper. The chest piece is pretty much key. It gives you a hell of a lot of added cold damage to bow attacks. And because Abyss Jewels got nerfed and are harder to roll, it's really good that you can get a load of cold damage on your chest piece. Likewise, Tomb Fist, you can even get one socket ones. It's completely fine. If you're on one socket ones, I might even recommend going for a resist pair of gloves. A really big resist pair of gloves with, say, the projectile ones, the projectile base gloves that give basically increased projectile damage, the gripped ones. You could get some gripped gloves with high life and resist. That way, you could get a much cheaper belt and get a better jewel inside it, or get a much better amulet, because my amulet is technically good. If you look up this amulet, it looks expensive, but that's because I need resists on it. If I could get rid of these 2 resists and put them on my gloves, I'd be looking at a much stronger amulet. Likewise, I could get a much better Assassin's Mark Ring if I didn't need those 2 resists at the top. So again, all the links are in the path of building. I'm using Quicksilver, a Diamond Flask, a Dying Sun, which was about 15 Chaos, a Jade Flask of Evasion, which I personally use because it takes my defensive stats up to 58 Evade, 50 Dodge, and 52 Spell Dodge. And 52 Spell Dodge in Legion with Val Grace on top is very nice. You're effectively 75 to wall, which makes the character very safe. Now, you can, when you're doing an Uber Elder, put in a Cinder Swallow because you won't need the curse removal. Or you can put in just a cheaper silver flask if you haven't got the Cinder Swallow. These are the 2 flasks I constantly rotate in and out, depending on what I'm doing. If I feel like I want to level, I'm currently level 94, just leveled up. If I want to carry on level, I might keep my Jade Flask on for safety, or I might be more safe and go roll curse removal and put that one on, play a little bit more safe. Or if I just want to blow some bosses up, put on a Cinder Swallow. Now, I'll run you through my gear, what to look for, and yeah. So the precision is effectively filling out my accuracy, because for me, we are a Deadeye. And what I've done on the tree instead of previous ones is I've taken Ricochet and I've dropped Fast and Deadly. Now, Fast and Deadly does feel very nice for a bow build. Don't get me wrong. The ability to blink arrow frequently, have attack speed, proj damage, and 50% more global accuracy is a very strong node. However, because we're in 3.7 and the monoliths are a thing, I played pretty much the whole league with Fast and Deadly. However, I've found that most of the time what I'm doing is if I do need to get out of a situation, I'm blink arrowing, then I might move a little bit, then I might dodge, and by the time I've done that, so I'll blink arrow. If it actually works, I'll blink arrow, move a little bit and dodge, maybe shoot once, and then my blink arrow's back up. I don't feel like I need the cooldown that much. So I've gone for the extra chain, which means the monoliths are so much better now. With that 1 extra chain, I feel like I'm clearing them a lot more. It feels a bit more like Essence Drain, where the whole thing gets cleared. Whereas when I didn't have that extra chain, it did feel a little bit lackluster on monoliths. The actual clearing skill was 5-shot. It was a 5-link Ice Shot. We've got Ice Shot, ignore increased crit, you don't need that. Chain, added cold pen, and elemental damage with attacks. My Ice Shot is 21-23. Again, when I bought this, it was about 10 chaos. I don't know what the price is now, but all these things are just me trying to min-max. The amount of damage I've got is completely overkill, and I did the whole game on 2 5-links without even level 20 quality gems. So it is possible. What you're looking at is maybe a slightly more min-maxed version. I know Maffle in his hideout had, I think he had 60k on Ice Shot, and when I got to about 50k on Ice Shot, my Ice Shot damage, I felt like I could clear tier 16s. My Ice Shot damage is now 100k, so I've almost doubled my damage, but that is because I'm really enjoying the build, and I have put currency into it and really min-maxed it. But once your Ice Shot reaches about 50k DPS, and your barrage is about 20, and you've got your Dying Sun, you'll begin to feel really good about the build. So my jewels, the only real thing to note, because Path of Building will explain most of this, is I have got, I didn't take a Threshold jewel here and put an Ice Shot Threshold jewel in. I took a jewel socket, that's the only difference. I've got a Watcher's Eye. These are actually really cheap. when I purchased them, they give 58 to 93 cold whilst affected by hatred, which means it's like a big abyss jewel, and because they got nerfed, that amount of added cold is really nice. And again, this aura is giving me a lot of flat accuracy, 300 accuracy, and a bit of crit chance, which means I don't quite need the accuracy from the ascendancy. So right now, I'm currently at 94% chance to hit an evasive monster and 98% chance to hit, which is absolutely fine, mixed in with the fact that even if you miss, the concept of the build is even if you miss, right, the actual explosion is going to hit them, not so much your arrow. So even if you're slightly below an accuracy, it's fine. I've taken an accuracy jewel inside an abyss jewel and put it in there. So, you know, there are a few things you can look at. I got spell dodge on the boots. You can also get dodge attacks. I do recommend them, they're quite nice, and I ran these through the labyrinth to get the enchants myself. This enchant is quite nice. I don't need it so much now that I got the 6th link and I can put an increased crit, but it's still nice for barrage. Once you phase a boss and then you haven't crit, you get a lot more crit chance. To demonstrate, I can show you what that enchant is doing. My crit chance is 65. If I take these boots off, it's 54. So when I haven't crit, I'm getting effectively from rolling the dice at 54% to I'm going to 65. That then with a diamond flask is pretty much guaranteed a crit. So that was a nice thing that I ran through the lab to get. Your amulet, again, multi-life. And that's pretty much it. Now, my helmet, I'll show you my old one, is barrage fires an additional projectile, max life -9 to cold res. You can just use a frigid fossil, which are really cheap. This was my helmet I used to clear the whole game. It's only recently I've made this. And also, if you go in full min-max, you can get an abyssal socket on it. However, we're actually beginning to run out of gem links. So if you got an abyssal socket, you would pretty much actually be running out of links. You could maybe drop faster attacks off your blink arrow and put dash here and then get an abyssal socket. I tried to make an abyssal socket with -9 to cold res, I think about 6 times. It's about 600 C and they all turned out awful. And this was my old helmet I was using. Ignore the enchant, does nothing for us. I just got a lion's pelt, an eye level 84 lion's pelt. It cost 1 chaos, and I got a pristine fossil and a frigid fossil. I think I got 5 of them inside 2 socket resonators. I think it cost me about 20 chaos, and I got this on the 5th one. I didn't end up using this particular setup. What I did actually end up using was I ended up putting on cold and lightning, I think it was, to fix my resists. So technically, all barrage projectile is doing is sort of adding an extra explosion, which that's super min-max. To put it this way, I haven't looked at the prices of this, but it cost me 20 C to buy the enchant. Now, I don't know what the price of the enchant is now, but when I bought it, it was 20 chaos, and I haven't needed it. Like I say, I did the whole game with a Scourge Arrow enchant, and if you haven't noticed, I'm not playing Scourge Arrow. So, yeah, that's kind of how the build functions. You run around, you have Hatred, you have Precision, Herald Device, you're going to be clearing and chaining, and you are going to be, on top of that, barraging and unleashing all your void shots. I've really enjoyed the build. Key things, yeah, Dying Sun, absolutely key. This league, it's so cheap. Instead of it being like 3-4 exalts, it's like 10 C, really cheap. Get some abyss jewels. We're looking at, I've got some resists on mine, I've got some multi. These are all crafted myself. I would recommend crafting your own rather than purchasing them, because they get ridiculously expensive for what they are. My jewels aren't that fantastic. As you can see, my jewels are actually attack speed, which we don't really need because the idea of the build is you're exploding things and not shooting very fast. So that's mainly accuracy and life. This one is resists life and multi. I crafted that one. That's quite a nice jewel, but you know, it's the only reason it looked expensive on PoE trade is the resists. You know, this one's got armor if you've killed recently. Well, I don't have any armor, so that's useless. So we can improve some stuff still. But yeah, that's how the build functions. I've really enjoyed playing it. I'll link you to a path of building, and hopefully you enjoy playing it. This node here, in 3.6, people took these two nodes. I found that the 10% chance to freeze has been very nice. Instead of taking this leech node here for 3 points, and then maybe even 1 mana leech node here, I dropped King of the Hill. I didn't like King of the Hill because it pushed them away from the explosion. And I got a Lionized Fall, which was 12C, I think it was, like last week. I figured I'd just get one, see what this is like, and that solves your leech. Or again, you can not use that and you can get your leech here. And then that frees up a lot of passives, because this is... You can move these two nodes down here, and then that'd be 1, 2, 3. 3 passive points. So you'd save 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You could put a jewel socket here and another abyss jewel, maybe even reses, fill it with reses to cap yourself to make it cheaper. And then you'd have like 8 more passive points where you could go and get, you could go and fill out an accuracy wheel to help you out if you need that. You could fill out this wheel here and get proj damage. You could go up this way and get proj damage, aspect of the eagle, and go this way, and then down to aspect of the lynx, which could be good for you. There are plenty of options. You could take your 8 passives and stretch out here and get another jewel socket. So I haven't played around with that, but yeah, that's the way you could do it. There are definitely flexible ways. I just thought I'd talk about how I've done my 3.7 version. It's done everything I've asked of it. It's cleared everything. As you can see, I've got a completely full atlas. I've done Uber Elder, I've done Shaper, I've done a 4-way monolith. Yeah, it's absolutely fine. I'll keep the video short now. Thanks for watching. Path of building in the description. This YouTube channel is not monetized. I cannot be a partner on YouTube due to an old issue. There's a video explaining that. If you enjoy these videos and if you want to support me, there are links in the description to support me. It's the only way the channel can keep running, and it helps me do what I do and keep positive. But for the most part, just like, comment. That helps a lot. Thanks very much. Have a nice day.